In our last video, we sat down with a self-aware narcissist to answer your biggest questions, like what happens when they know that you know, how they hide affairs, and the disturbing games they play to reel you back in. But what if you could spot them before all the damage? What if there were specific questions, simple, direct, impossible to answer honestly, that made them flinch, deflect, or reveal their true nature right in front of you? These aren't just smart questions. These are psychological landmines drawn straight from the mind of a self-aware narcissist.
Can you tell me about a time when you were wrong? A healthy person might admit their mistakes. A narcissist expect blame shifting, deflection, or silence. Imagine this. Amy finally mustered up the courage to ask her partner, "Can you tell me about a time when you were wrong?" She hoped for an honest conversation, a moment of vulnerability. Instead, her partner's face hardened. "Are you saying I'm always wrong? Maybe you should look in the mirror before pointing fingers." Her stomach dropped. Instead of understanding, she felt like the villain. This is the power of deflection, and why asking this question is so revealing. How do you think your behavior affects others? Narcissists struggle with empathy. They might turn this around on you, saying, "Well, what about what you did?" This question taps into a psychological concept called theory of mind, the ability to understand that other people have their own thoughts and feelings. While most people develop this naturally, narcissists often have a distorted theory of mind. They see others as extensions of themselves, not as individuals with their own needs. This is why, when asked how their behavior affects others, they either deflect or twist the narrative to make it about themselves. What are your weaknesses? This is where the mask slips. They might say things like, "I care too much," to avoid the question altogether. Here's where it gets really interesting. Asking a narcissist about their weaknesses might trigger their narcissistic rage. Why? Because this question threatens their carefully constructed self-image. Narcissists rely on grandiose sense of self to avoid deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. When this facade is challenged, their response can range from defensive anger to outright hostility. Can you describe a time when you apologized sincerely and changed your behavior? Narcissists rarely change. Any apology you get is likely just a strategy, not genuine remorse. Let me talk to you about pseudo-apologies and cognitive dissonance because they both play a role here. Pseudo-apologies are apologies that sound sincere but lack genuine remorse or intent to change. They often include phrases like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," or "If I did anything wrong, I apologize." These non-apologies shift responsibility and avoid true accountability. When a narcissist is confronted with evidence of their wrongdoing, it creates an uncomfortable gap between their ideal self-image, as perfect and blameless, and the reality of their actions. To reduce this discomfort, they might offer a hollow apology that protects their ego while giving the illusion of accountability.
During my interview, the self-aware narcissist actually admitted this. He said apologies were more like damage control, something to keep the supply intact, not to express remorse. This question threatens their illusion, and they know it.
Imagine asking a narcissist to describe a time they apologized sincerely and changed their behavior. Instead of acknowledging their mistake, they might say, "I said I was sorry, but nothing I do is ever good enough for you." What seems like an apology is actually a tactic to shift blame and maintain control. What do you regret, and what did you learn from it? Admitting regret requires humility, and narcissists would rather twist reality than admit fault. Ask a narcissist what they regret, and you might hear something like, "I regret not buying Bitcoin sooner." Because real regrets, like hurting someone's feelings, aren't exactly on their radar. If you found these questions eye-opening so far, wait until you hear the one bonus question that exposes a narcissist every time. I'll share it in just a moment, so keep watching. What do you contribute to this relationship? Ever asked a narcissist this question and felt like you just entered an alternate reality? You might hear crickets or get an elaborate list of what you should be doing for them. You might hear, "I bring the vibe," or "My mere presence is a gift." And if they're feeling really generous, they might say, "I let you bask in my greatness. You're welcome." Imagine this. You ask them this question, and they respond, "Well, I let you be around me. Isn't that enough?" It's like saying, "I bring the air to the room." And the best part, they're completely serious.
I don't get it. I really don't. You're always asking for more. More attention, more affection, more whatever. But honestly, what else do you want from me? I let you do things for me. I let you make me happy. Isn't that enough? You act like I'm supposed to give you something back. Like I owe you for every little thing you do. But let's be real. You wouldn't do all those things if you didn't want to, right? You say you want me to be happy. Well, I am. You've done your job. Congratulations. It's not my fault if that's not enough for you. You expect me to drop everything and meet your needs just because you went out of your way for me? You love making me happy. You've told me that 1,000 times. So why not just enjoy it?
This part hit hard when I first heard it in real life myself. That same inflated logic came up in the interview too. Everything is about what you bring to them, never what they offer back. It's delusion disguised as confidence.
How do you handle criticism? This can trigger rage, tears, or them flipping the script to make you the bad guy. But why do narcissists react so intensely to even the smallest critique? It all comes down to protecting their fragile self-image. Here is the shocking part. Narcissistic injury occurs when a narcissist feels their self-image is under attack. Even mild or constructive criticism can trigger this injury because it challenges their need to appear perfect and superior. When this happens, they might respond with narcissistic rage, which can manifest as anger, passive aggressiveness, or even the silent treatment. What does love mean to you? Their answer may sound transactional. For them, love is often about control and supply. This brings us to transactional relationships and narcissistic supply. Narcissists often view love through a what's in it for me lens. Their relationships are transactional, meaning affection, care, or support is given only when there is something to gain. This is why their love often feels conditional, with affection disappearing when they no longer benefit from the relationship. How do you support loved ones when they are struggling? A narcissist's support often comes with strings attached, or a hidden agenda. If you ask a narcissist how they support loved ones, you might get an answer like, I tell them to stop being dramatic, or I support them by showing them how I handle things better, because nothing says love like a sight of condescension. Why do you think sometimes people distance themselves from you? You might hear a victim story or blame placed on everyone but themselves. Instead of reflecting on their behavior, they might say, people just can't handle my honesty, or everyone always abandons me for no reason. These responses avoid accountability and paint the narcissist as the victim in every situation. How do you react when someone sets a boundary with you? Boundaries are like kryptonite to a narcissist. They threaten their control and trigger all sorts of reactions: passive aggression, manipulation, or outright defiance. You might hear them say, "Why are you being so difficult?" or suddenly become the victim in a dramatic monologue about how nobody cares about their feelings. They might push back subtly like, "Well, I guess you just don't want me around," or take the nuclear route with lines like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me." It's a clever way to flip the script and make you feel guilty for simply asserting your needs. The goal? To make boundaries seem unreasonable so they can regain control. If you've ever wanted to cut through the lies and get to the truths, this bonus question might be all you need. What do you want most in a relationship? Narcissists often reveal their true motives when answering open-ended questions. While a healthy person might talk about love, trust, or connection, a narcissist's response is often transactional or self-serving. They might say things like, "someone who understands me," or "a partner who supports my goals," subtly implying that the relationship is more about fulfilling their needs than building a mutual bond. This question taps into the concept of self-referencing. When narcissists struggle to focus on others' needs, when answering, they often give away how much they see relationships as tools for validation rather than genuine connections. Imagine you ask a narcissist this question. Instead of mentioning mutual support or shared happiness, they respond with, "I need someone who won't let me down," or "I just want someone who can handle me." These answers are subtle red flags, showing that they view the relationship through the lens of what they can get, not what they can give.
If you haven't watched the interview with the self-aware narcissist yet, I highly recommend it. These questions are powerful, but hearing what happens after you leave one of these people, that's a whole other layer of clarity.
If this video helps you understand narcissistic behavior better, hit like, subscribe, and share your experiences in the comments.